Hey, I'm doing a video and it's about the testaments, and so I don't really know how to start this. I'm really angry right now and I'm trying my best to be calm about this, and I mean it's not a calm subject. So I'm watching Hey Series Plus YouTube channel, and it was like how Hannah becomes Agnes, Handmaid's Tale to the Testaments, and it's really interesting. And my comment to the whole video but was kind of a summary of what he explained about the Handmaid's Tale, and not a spoiler for the testaments. So basically, of like recap and what happened. So I said, with how easily this all went to like um well okay okay first time doing this, and I usually am very like convicted in my mind, but it is difficult for me to say it out loud. So I'm like, with how easily this all went to, it's easy to think, oh yeah, it's fictional, but even Margaret Atwood, the author, announced how it was all inspired by an event that happened at least once in history. And side comment, I actually did figure this out by watching like the trailer for Masterclass, so that was very interesting, and I was horrified because it's like she was like, "Oh, I don't want people to be like you have an evil imagination," but I'm like, this is so much deeper than just that, and I could tell she knows that. She was just trying to like joke around it, kind of, yeah. So I get that, and I know that obviously she knows what she was saying. So back to the comment. I was like, also very important note. This is Afghanistan. I feel like that's obvious with how quickly it all flipped, and um the pictures of young women in the 70s compared to now is stunning with its contrast. I remember seeing this photo of how um women were basically just, think America in the 1960s with trousers becoming a thing, and um there were like a bunch of wars going on, but it was also like celebrating just women finally getting to step into these roles that they were told they weren't able to do for so long, and now all of a sudden they could. Of course, like, we took full advantage of it, but it's so crazy how all of a sudden the one thing deemed impossible was actually the thing we did really good at. And it's like, I'm not surprised, but it says a lot about how most of the policies or social dynamics are actually just highly opinionated. It's someone opposing their like opinion on someone else. Okay, this is a very long time, kind of rough beginning, but thanks for staying through. And I was like it's not even exaggerated at this point. People get killed for defiance, as simple as it is. Or people get killed for defiance. Whether it's simple or it's about being in control, like Serena in the show. And basically what happened was she got her finger cut for reading a book, but she was also one of the ones that heavily enforced it. I read one of the comments saying that they made uh, a book. She made a book, excuse me, called Domestic Feminism. And it's basically maintain yourself in order, but be you. And the very shocking thing is kids are the product of this. There is there's no way out of it. You will be a reflection of it when you were younger. You got the freedom to go to parties and everything like that. That's a reflection of your liberty. I didn't get that. That's a reflection of my liberty. And I'm not putting blames or anything like that. I'm just saying, while there are definitely more individualistic values to different cultures, it's still a reflection of liberty. Because the same way people can go out in a group and just spend a night out and have fun, the same way individualistic places or nations with individualistic values and could propose something, and that certain thing proposed is actually against that said liberty. And so it all depends. But basically I was like, oh yeah, she made a book regarding that. And it just thinks makes me think, now before anyone comes after me, please listen carefully, because I'm a 17-year-old and I am saying this for a reason. Women are enablers. Let that sink in. Like, now I'm not saying all. Please, no one should bring the exceptions or generalized or anything. I'm just think about it. Naturally, let's say, let's bring in biblical illusion. In a biblical sense, and I'm a Christian myself, so in a biblical sense, there is something called partnership. It's a marriage, right? In that marriage, women are said to be the helpmate. That's how it's written, right? It doesn't mean they should be undermined. I'm saying this right now, okay? It just means they're meant to assist, and that is the role God gave to us. Now things have changed over time, and a lot of things regarding with like how women dress and everything, and the Bible said pluck your eye out. No one ends up bringing that up. Or children, obey your parents, and parents, listen carefully, don't anger your kids. No one brings that part up. Or when they talk about how, oh, someone is a sinner and how you should convict them, they don't talk about how they said pluck the log out of your eye first. No one brings up that part. It's a double standard. People just live with it because they think they're more superior. And it sucks, because that's a whole nother thing. But basically, women over time have been able to assist or help move things along. We, no matter how, like, no matter what we're doing, we can help speed up the process of things. We just have that kind of mind. We have the ability to move things along, to raise awareness, to make it a thing, right? So to see her kind of, again, it's very like looking into like a traditionalist mindset, and I don't have anything against it. But in The Handmaid's Tale, Serena is sitting in this position where she has all that power. She's just a figurehead, but she plays into the role, just like how the mom uses her pregnancy as leverage to rebel. Serena is doing the same thing. She's using that to rebel, and she has this entire position where she doesn't realize she won't have to fake something to rebel in the first place if she just had her freedom. Her mind has automatically accepted that that's the way things are, and she's just going to have to work her way around it and gain more leverage. Basically saying it's not so good. So I don't really know how I got to this position of explaining things, and it's been a total, like, it's almost 10 minutes. But basically I might just make this a YouTube video. Yeah. And yes, I talked about how, like, women also, her position, it reminded me of this one primary source. It was an excerpt in modern world history, and I'm so grateful to even take classes like this. And so I was learning about that, and she was like, oh yeah, you ladies are supposed to are meant to raise their kids and build up the sons and let them be the structure of the homes. And while we sit down drinking tea and admire work from afar, basically think about how the kids, don't quote me on this, but basically think about how the kids are like on the playground or on the grass, right? And while most people, most dads are out playing football or like throwing their daughters up in the air while they swing their dolls or something like that. You know, the women are inside sipping lemonade because it is the most convenient. And forgive my accent. It's just I think really fancy and posh. So I think British accent doesn't mean it's just like limited to like British society or anything like that. But most of this did start um kind of with this idea of traditionalistic idea of women are meant to have a certain role and that's it, there's no cross line. But the whole point of like I think feminism is just to make sure we have a choice. You do what you want to do, but are you sure you have a choice to another one? And that reminded me of like that excerpt basically of this woman that basically made something or wrote something so similar to that because she was enjoying the comforts of life when she's just a mirror, like she's just a figurehead. She is an illusion. She is a hologram of what is meant to be. Doesn't mean she is it, because I'm not apologizing, this sounds insultive, but basically speaking, because I know it's not meant to be, basically speaking, she is that character or that figurehead. And prison, social prison, is not meant to be seen as torture. It's just not. Think about how people are placed in so comfortable, like just more comfortable situations where they really don't think about, oh yeah, what if it was some other way? They're trapped. You're cushioned, actually. But if it's four walls, it's still four walls, no matter what material it's made of. And if there's no entrance and there's no exit, or it's only one way, no matter what that door is made of, honestly, it's still a door. No matter what that lock is made of, it's still a lock. So, with that cushion reference, basically trapped in this ideological, like, mindset of this is your role, go with it. And she kind of, quote unquote, maybe in her opinion, made the best out of it. While that might have seemed most appealing in her period of time, or gotten her praised, or more fancier dinners, or yeah, I know that's not the right way to say it, but basically it still wouldn't have been enough, because at the end of the day, you shouldn't have to fake something just to get what you naturally deserve. And that's where we bring in naturalistic rights, because why was it stated? Why is it stated in the Constitution? Oh yeah, all men equal rights and everything, liberty, life, love, happiness, success. You can do what you want. Basically, you will have the ability to. Men, of course. Why does it sound like that? We know, yeah, women weren't able to be in that role and everything like that. But honestly, who forgets their wife? I'm not just talking about a marital role here. I'm just saying, in the whole fuss about we need to be able to go for what we want and have this freedom. And when Americans term the colonies break off from the British, who forgets about their wife? Now, in that very like old manner kind of term, they come home, they meet their wives, and They dine with them, they commune with them, they share their day with them. They most likely will feel happier being around them because that is company. That is basically what you do with friends and family around. So, in that technicality, who forgets their friend? Who forgets their wife? Imagine a society so undermining of women that the very people meant to be in partnership with them, the very people meant to take up a role of that is equal to the next, as stated biblically, just all of a sudden forgetting. That's not forgetting at all. We can clearly see that all of this is framed. They did not forget to add women. They did not forget a sequel or like did not think of it. They brushed it aside. They thought of the people closest to them, the women closest to them, the people that needed to be protected the most because they don't have the authority to protect themselves. And they really thought, nah, threw it out the window. I don't know if it's pride that they thought they would be enough or complete deliberate ignorance. And the worst thing about deliberate ignorance is while there is something called, oh yeah, I can just not have to deal with it, there is a sudden awareness to just looking at something directly in the eye or someone, multiple people, excluding them from everything that has to do with your life because you don't think they're worthy enough for it. Or that's just the way of things, which is a stupid excuse, by the way. And thinking they're not worthy of it. Women for centuries have had to combat that mindset, and it's getting tiring. So basically, going to that, how it's like enabled in our society, and children are a reflection of it, if you haven't seen. The testament is basically going into how that is their reflection, right? So I'm guessing the daughter, Hannah, is trying to figure things out in her peaceful society kind of mindset way. How it's not really her mindset, it was just really imposed to her. And it sucks how the only times she got to see her mother were the times that she was basically being oppressed. So it makes me think, why is it then that they decide to start like to switch up? Why is it when this person comes into my life, all of a sudden it feels like a scare or a danger? I'll give you an example. I was a really sheltered kid. I'm not even joking. Pink, I didn't like pink. I thought it was too weak. I thought pink didn't mean soft, it just meant weak. I felt inferior every time I thought of the color pink or liking it to the slightest degree. That is a reflection of society. That cannot just happen from anywhere. That is a 5-year-old's mind. A color. It is never as simple as that. The cutting of a finger, you lose your ability to live or to handle things if you handle this specific thing. Do you get it? Or like, are you picking up what I'm putting down? Okay. Basically speaking, that's what was going through my mind. So I was the perfect kid, well behaved, obedient. And the only time, let's fast forward to like 10 years later, so 15, the only time where I really struggled internally or within my family was when I slightly stepped out of that box or opposed. And it was so bad for me. Like, think about like a glass shattering. Like, if you like tap a really fragile glass, it's like, oh yeah, all of this, you see, you can have it all. You just can't step into it. It's like the women in the box, in the houses. They're basically in a box. You just can't step into it. Enjoy the comfort of the glass. It's sent to room temperature. It's really nice. It's ice, chilling, refreshing drinks. You get your lemonade. Like, I'm over here chilling. It's like, this is nice. And then I think for a single second, they seem like they're having fun. I like hearing their laughter. I want to laugh. I don't laugh here. And it was true. I was very depressed. So I was like, okay, let me step up to it. And with that extreme high of euphoria, let's basically call it that, with me feeling euphoric with how fun it was to see that I did not have to suffer through everything, came the constant reminder that that's the only way to get through life. It was exhausting. I'm never letting my kids go through that.